First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. Thanks for being here with us. We are live streaming on the website, on our apps, on Facebook and YouTube. I always want you to know you have a lot of options to find the show, and you can watch all of the segments on all of those locations as well after we're done. So we cover a wide range of topics, but it's Thursday, and that generally means around this time, we're joined by the one and only Eric G. from around the house, Northwest. Always great to have Eric on here. He's from his amazing studio right there, as you can see, which every time I look at that, I'm a little bit jealous of all the things you have there. So joining us, but we learn some different tips and tricks and information every time that you're on here. But this one I think is probably, especially with the weather being a little bit nicer, probably on a lot of people's minds.
You know, it might not be the best time to go outside and start that outdoor project just yet, but I think it's got everybody at least thinking about it, right?
Right. It's time to get into the planning phase of it.
Exactly. And see, that's the biggest thing is the planning part, because if you don't do that part correctly, it's going to go sideways. And even with somebody in my experience, that's one of my biggest tips that I can give is it's all about the planning, because it doesn't matter if you're going to be doing something, inside or outside. If you don't have the planning, you get the steps out of the way incorrectly and you got a hot mess going and you do things twice.
Yep. And I've done that personally before. So planning is so important. So can you walk through this for us? What should people really be thinking about and go, or how should they go about planning these things?
You know, let's use the common backyard makeover, right? Okay, I'm going to do a backyard makeover. And I always say plan the project out start to finish before you even start this. So that way, you know, okay, well, hey, I got to dig and put maybe an underground sprinkler in, or if I want to put in that like beautiful gas fired, fire pit out in the middle of the backyard, you got to run gas out to it. So you don't want to be digging up that brand new lawn you put in. Or if you're going to be putting lighting in, make sure you get all those basics down. It's almost like building a house. You got to put those kind of utilities and that kind of stuff in first before you finish the rest of it off. Otherwise, you just tear it back up and do it all over again.
Right. And that's definitely not what you want to end up doing, is having to start all from scratch. I mean, that's time, money, and let alone the frustration cost.
Well, you know what happens is traditionally people go, hey, I'm going to put that cool backyard fence up. I'm going to get the fence up. I didn't have a fence. I've got it where the kids, the dog can play back there. And they go, okay, now let's plan it out. The problem, though, is you didn't think about it. I got to put a backhoe or an excavator or a trencher back there, and you didn't make the gate big enough or that kind of stuff. And so then you're tearing that down. So you have to think about just in the planning stage, okay, what's all the things that I need to make this my dream? And two, how am I going to get that stuff back there? Do I just need to plan for a larger gate, or do I need to make it so a couple fence sections come down?
Yeah. And thinking about it all ahead of time will make things so much easier. So planning that out, definitely important.
It is. And then the other thing I always say too is kind of plan on your budget, because I tell you what, if you've gone to the home improvement store, I hit it a couple hours ago and I walked out of there going, well, that was $350. And I didn't think that was going to be that at all. And so you really have to think about what things cost these days, because really nothing's gotten less expensive out there. So maybe when you were pricing this project out 2 years ago, you're like, okay, I'm going to spend $3,000 on it. It could be $5,000 now. So just be prepared and, hold on to the wallet and then shop the sales. There's always some great closeouts and stuff out there. Like I was out there just looking at some light fixtures for my place, and I've been always looking at it, but I didn't, things were expensive. I went and grabbed them off closeout today, and I bought 3 light fixtures, and I looked at my receipt and said, saved $505. That's when I know I got the deal.
Wow. Okay. And how did you go about finding that deal? I'm sorry, just one more time.
So I go through the home centers and walk their closeout areas. You learn where their closeout areas are. Like in Home Depot, it's usually on the end of the aisles. Lowe's has a place in the back of the store, usually hiding over there. And these were just out on a table in the lighting department. And I walked by and I'm like, I could use 3 of those. And so I picked them up like $40 a pop, and they were $300 light fixtures.
That's a really good tip right there. So be on the lookout for that stuff and take advantage of it when you find those deals.
Yeah, because what happens is they're still in style, but maybe they change a vendor. And this is that time of year where they're really starting to kind of bring in the spring stuff. So if there's something they brought in over the winter time, now's the time that they've got those closeouts out there. So if you shop those closeouts, and here's another tip, there's a Facebook or 2 group out there that has the closeouts. So when they close it out nationally, people take pictures and post it up there, then you know you got about 20 minutes to head down there before somebody else, because they'll close them out regionally or nationally. You can find those killer deals where you're paying 10 cents on the dollar.
That's great. I think I'm going to join one of those groups myself because that's a really good tip. Anything else you think people should think about?
You know, safety's a big one, you know, and that's something that I'm even working on my show. And we talk about it in this weekend show as well, but really make sure that you've got all the right safety stuff. You know, I finally went out and did it and replaced my harness to get on the roof. I had an old one that it just wasn't awesome. So I got a new fall protection harness, and I'm upgrading my safety stuff as well. So that way I'm doing it safer. But there's so many new products out there that are easy. And, you know, it's just really cool. We've got some new stuff coming up, some safety stuff that's really cool for like holding the ladder up against the house and stuff like that. That makes it so much easier when you're tackling a project.
That's something I would definitely want to look into because getting up onto my roof is not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So figuring out how to attach a harness on there, that would be a good idea. That's something I would definitely want to learn more about.
Yeah, super easy. We'll cover that in an upcoming show too, but it's really easy to mount it on the roof of your house up there, and then you can just get up there and tie off. And now if you've got control, if you lose your grip and slide and fall, you can stop yourself before you hit the ground. It's always a good thing.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that segment too, learning more about that. All right, well, anything else you think people should think about, or do you want to do a preview?
Let's do a preview. I think the rest of that's just going to be budgets and just planning. You know, that's the big thing. If you can do that and spend the money in the right places is the last thing I just want to say real quick. You know, if you buy something super cheap that's a low quality product, it's probably not going to hold up. So sometimes you get what you pay for with that stuff. So look for the closeouts where you're getting that expensive thing with the reliability, but not the price that goes with it.
Nice. All right. Well, let's talk about this week's episode. What do we have coming up?
All right. Our big one, our Perform Like a Pro segment. I'm showing everybody, I'm going to show you guys how to go through and paint your kitchen or bathroom cabinetry. How do you go through and take that old 1990s maple cabinet and paint it a cool color and put some hardware on it? So we're going to show you how to do that kitchen and bath refresh without the remodel.
Nice. I do have, let's see. Not sure if that's part of that.
That's it right there.
Okay.
VH1 Best of the 90s wants that thing back.
I mean, yeah, but see some new paint and away you go.
Hardware, that's a big thing. So we talk about that. And let me tell you what, if we don't talk about it as much in this segment is this is not a weekend project if you're doing a kitchen.
Yeah.
You'll do the prep maybe in a weekend if you're really working hard and put in 16 or 20 hours, but you've got so much cleaning, so much sanding, so much priming and finishing, and 2 coats of paint has to dry, put the hardware on. Plan this as a 2 or 3 weekend project if you're doing a kitchen, but it'll also save you 70 grand on doing a remodel. So it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I'll do that for saving that much money, 100%.
Time saves you some money there. So that's a big one.
Right. So the show's already saving people money. So we've got that segment. I know we don't want to give away all of them, but
no, we're not going to. This is a cool one. You know how many times we see wooden fence posts get rotten off, right? They break off, they're in the ground. You got to go out and fix the fence post.
Yep.
So we got a guy that came up a solution called Post Protector. And so it's a sleeve that goes over the fence post when you put it in the ground, and it seals around it. So it protects it from the elements and it won't rot. So that's a cool one. Pretty affordable. It goes over the top. So it protects it from, the soil, which is what causes those enzymes to get in there and break it down, even when it's a treated post. So it works pretty well. So we've got him on there. And then I've got this amazing interview that, again, kind of springtime planning, but this guy is super cool. And Steve Griggs, he is one of the leading, basically architectural landscape designers out there. And he's out of New York. So he does all the movie houses you see in the Hamptons up there and everything else. And so he comes on and we talk about tips for designing that backyard and doing it correctly.
Cool. Well, I mean, just really quick, that fence post thing, that seems, once you talked about that seems like a no-brainer that should have been out there already, because I've definitely dealt with a rotten fence post before. So that's,
windstorms show you how they break off too. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And so they've come up with that. We've got so much more stuff, including some secrets on taking off that popcorn ceiling if you're thinking about taking the 70s out of your life and changing that texture on the ceiling.
All right. And that's all on this week's episode of Around the House Northwest, which, again, that's just this episode. There's
Oh,
all of
yeah.
that and more. So lots of stuff to cover. Let's, as always, let everybody know. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, this is a big episode. This is episode 52. So it's the last one of season 1. The next
Nice.
week we do our season 2 starts. So we knocked out our first year.
Congratulations. That's
Thanks.
fantastic. 52 episodes and hundreds of segments that are on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel that people can go check out and take a look at and go through all of these.
Yeah.
God,
So
that's a lot
if you
of
want to
segments
catch
that you've done.
Oh, we'll be over 300 here this weekend. So yeah, that's just that's some of them are even put where we have 2 together. So we've got a lot of segments in there. And then if you want to catch last week's show, you can catch that tomorrow morning, Friday morning, 8 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus. And of course, this brand new one hits us at 10 a.m. Of course, on Saturday morning on Fox 12 Plus. And if you're not a fan of that big game this weekend, don't worry, you can catch Around the House Northwest on the replay at 6 o'clock on Sunday when you're tired of watching the commercials, and then Friday again the next week.
There you go. Game that'll be a boring game anyway. So yeah. Watch that.
It's not my Seahawks. Sorry.
All right. Well, thank you as always, Eric. It's great to talk to you. Great to catch up and find out all this stuff. So everybody go check out that episode. And thanks for joining us here for Fox 12 Now. You can watch all of our segments as well on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel or Facebook or the app or the website. So plenty of places to go and check out all of those. And I think that's it for right now. We'll be back if there's breaking news. As always, anytime between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., this is the place to go. Whatever one of those platforms you're watching on, this is where we'll be, and we'll bring that to you, and all our other segments as well. But that's it for now. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.